Happy Manic Monday indeed. Tech gremlin slaying as needed included. Let's go ahead and talk about maybe getting some edits done on this RPG for once. See you in a moment. Everybody, welcome on back to Write a TTRPG with us. My name is Jenna O'Malley. I am your soul writer, author of sci-fi fantasy with dashes of romance and nerdy references. Baka is MIA. I tried to message him, no response yet. So normally that means he's okay. Something came up in IRL real life though. So we're still going to go ahead and jam. He may pop up in the middle of stream. We don't know. But with that being said, I thought it was wise to still go ahead and at least throw in some sprint rotations. This is something Baka and I talked about doing a couple months back because, well, let me just go ahead and switch my screen around here a little bit and just show y'all. We've come up with like a huge document. The master document of this is several tens of thousands of words. This is just one section of it, is sitting at 5K words. So I thought if he's going to be MIA today, why not still come in and at least eventually get to saying hello to everybody. So welcome in while we go ahead and take a moment and settle down before we get into a sprint. Thank you all for your patience with my tech gremlins. If you want to catch previous episodes, I actually think last month or October was our 1-year anniversary of starting this. So yeah, we hope to have it ready for a Kickstarter in 2027, possibly art included. Louise was here a while ago. Hello, how are you? How are you? Rachel, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Bethany, it has been a while. How have you been? You're back to getting into your writing, and now that everything has calmed down, it's been a busy couple of months for you, hasn't it? Geeky Witch, good evening, good evening. Vivica's here too. Hello, hello. Glad to see all of you. So I'm dual screening it tonight, so you might see me do the back and forth neck swing thing again. We haven't seen that in a while. I switched recently from a dual screen to a wide screen, but sometimes I got a dual screen when we want to do stuff like this. So I think let's go ahead and start with the 25-minute sprint. I will go ahead and keep what I'm working on up on screen and edit along with all of you, and let's get started. Train home. What, baby girl? I'm hungry. Dinner soon. I promise. What? What, baby? Finger. Guess what? Guess what? Guess who I found? Baka! Longer than mine.
Listen, a wizard is never late. He arrives exactly when he's supposed to.
We love that statement around here, don't we, word wizards?
Exactly.
We say that multiple times. Dude, when was the last time you got your hair cut?
2 years ago.
Really?
I think it was, I might be 5 at this point, because I stopped going to get my hair cut when people were complaining during COVID. I can't live without getting my hair cut. And I'm like, listen.
I can't talk. I mean, I hacked 10 inches off this March, and it doesn't look like I touched a thing.
Apparently my wife is jealous of how luscious and long my hair's gone.
It takes effort. It takes product, or you just grow it naturally. Anyway.
Or you just be a guy.
Welcome. Or just be a guy.
Or just be a guy.
Too. I was trying not to go there as the youngest of 5 kids and the only female. I know my brothers grow luscious, beautiful, curly hair, and I don't. We have friends in chat. Elaine, hello. Glad to have you here, chugging around in the background. Paula, how are you doing? Good to see you. Coffee Crate Connect houses you. Some distractions with the puppers. You enjoy your doggos very much, my friend. Very, very much is. So I has to stop that screen. And I has to reset up share screen to switch around into not the combined version of this document, but the version you sent me, and switcheroony, dippity doodah, yippity yay. There's the Baka somewhere on the screen. There he is. Okay. So with Halloween this is the one you sent me, huh?
It came like that?
Well, I had to change the colors. I have it set on high contrast dark mode because I have eye issues.
No, that's fair. I'm just making sure.
No. Your sister tends to stare at a screen a lot, and this is easier on my eyes.
No,
pardon me, everybody, as I adjust it so it's not so bad. No, I want black text, Jenna.
Looking at your Halloween vision.
Hey, I'm getting old, and yes, I know I'm younger than you. I have no room to speak.
Like, how dare you?
How dare I? Right? It's like all the dudes in my life.
At work with all the young kids calling me old man, Ernest. I'm like, call me old again, I'll hit you with my cane.
Just keep it PG is all I ask, brother. So
I'm trying. I'm setting my ways, sister.
Anyway.
But I had 2 goals.
Got to step out. All the hugs. Good to see you. 190 words. Well done on that sprint, Bethany, and laundry switch. So what updates did you add into with your document this time, bro? Where do you want me to focus?
So I had 2 goals in mind when I was making these notes. The first thing is, yeah.
Guess what? Guess what?
Oh, that is one hell of a delay.
Why do I hear myself?
I had my phone up to look at the chat, and I guess that was the delay. Yikes-a-ronies. Anyway, so I had 2 goals with this particular set of notes. Number 1, character creation. I wanted to, shall we say, sprint to making a character, so we can actually do all the silly shenanigans that I want to do with your game. Number 2, I wanted to come up with some crunchy rules for magic in your world. So it would be a lot easier going forward making magic-based archetypes. And also discuss how we could jump off into that nice crunch. Because I had a few ideas kicking around, some things that I'll propose to you. Unfortunately, a lot of those things I didn't get down on paper because things have been a little nuts.
So let me hear the crunch. Let me hear the crunch because I have another document in here for the Arcana bit that is much larger than the document you sent me. It's like, I don't know if you read that section, so let me hear the crunchy bit.
No, so I'll go over kind of like what I was thinking, and if it compares or contrasts to what you were thinking, I guess we can go from there. So I guess we could start with scrolling down step 5I on my little paperwork, which is magic. I didn't have much, just the categories I was thinking of. So unfortunately for me, I might have a little bit of brain block, which I might need your assistance getting out of, because Dungeons and Dragons has kind of ruined me for Magic, because that was my diving in to how Magic works, and now my brain refuses to acknowledge like any other system exists, which hopefully you can break me out of that mental block of mine. But anyway, here's
it's very good that you have elementalism as a key, because a lot of what you have there, I'll show you the big one here in a minute. You say what you're going to say. I just wanted to preface that before you said what you wanted to say.
Yes. So I wanted to get away from like evocation. So I was thinking, well, we're going to need some offensive magic or magic that creates like elements. And I noticed a lot of the magic that you had was element based. So I decided to start off with elementism. So that would be the school of magic to either create elements or conjure them from other places. I guess we can get into that later, based on whether or not you're evoking the spell or conjuring the spell or transforming the spell. Well, let's just start here with elementalism, because that's going to be the category I think would be best for how your magic works. Is, well, it's an elemental spell. Why? It deals with an element. I see. Carry on. And then to get away from like conjuring, like, well, the most common thing about magic is bringing something to you. And I'm like, well, that's summoning. So I figure summoning would be a form of magic in your system. I did struggle with illusion, because again,
we have the astral realm in these books. We have all the illusion you want, bro.
Exactly. I just wanted to come up with something other than illusion, but I really couldn't. But I was wondering if it's possible to lump enchantment in there, because the thing about enchantment, the only difference,
if you're going to say it, you got to say it that way at least once, dude. Come on. Enchantment. Anyway.
Enchantment, yes, from which wasn't even enchantment. It was just creating magic items. But I was just saying, in like Dungeons and Dragons, the difference between illusion and enchantment, it's literally illusion fools the senses, but enchantment fools your feelings. And I think we could lump those two together.
That makes sense in like a psychological processes of the brain, how it handles stuff like that too. So I like that.
I mean, psychologically, we could probably have a justification for all of these things affecting it, because even pain with elementalism, it's like, yeah, your brain is the one that's telling you, hey, this fire hurts, stop it. Or, hey, you're drowning, maybe get out of the water. Or my favorite one, hey, you're drowning in this acid and it burns, get out. You know, it's like a little bit of everything there. I did struggle with the next one, necromancy transmutation, being animus, dealing with the spirit. And then I was like, maybe just classifying those kind of spells that make you feel icky, we could just call them curses. And that was the other footnote I was going to get to. It's like, oh, just call it a curse. Of course. You know,
I mean, given we have that kind of magic to... I don't want to call it anti-magic, but you get what I mean. Well,
nice.
Sorry, right idea, wrong button on Jenna's part, y'all. Let me pause for a second and pull up the other Word document on screen here, because apparently my brain suddenly said no more coffee on board to talk while doing this. Anywho, what I did, I don't know if I sent you this version, but in our mega document, I basically copied over from my binder, both digitally and physically, all the spells. These are like my version of the spells that I used when writing. So we have a lot of different categories. Like, here's your elemental ones we were talking about, but also the summoning is here. And then on because there's there's work with summoning in this world.
I'm sure
it's literally why some of stuff happens in season 2. So that's very fitting to bring it this early. And the other biggie I would want to also add in with your crunchy is we have a little thing called Son of Scry in this world. Most other systems call it blood magic.
Right.
Literally using the blood of the body to scry. So, yeah, definitely. So I like your crunchy. My question would be from a mechanics standpoint, because I kind of started trying to mesh the mechanics you started with what I did while rolling them while writing the battles. Do we want to keep doing that, or do you want to have full unleashing, let me make this super crunchiness control?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say no to the data. Like, if you have already established spells, yes, put that in your game, because that's the kind of stupid crap that your fans are going to be like, but how do I do this? Like, aha, we thought of that already. And I think blood magic would be kind of a different part than what I'm trying to go over with these categorization of spells. Because I'm thinking how I was going to make spellcasting work in your game. I was going to have 2 components to a spellcasting archetype. The first thing was going to be the tradition, like that's how they like gather the magic to make the spell. And then I was also going to come up with the source. That's where they get the magic from, and blood magic could be the source of a particular tradition to make these spells, as opposed to a broad category of them. But I mean, we can also do that too. Like, just make the source the category, just to confuse everyone even more. I'm all for it. I love making.
I'm all for it because my brain likes to work. Here's a bucket. Now, what part of the bucket do you want to be in? If you want to think of it honestly, like
that. Blood magic could be considered animus, because that's, from what I understand, blood was considered to be part of the spirit, part of your life essence.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that could be considered animus, specifically for any blood spells. And then we could do something that Dungeons and Dragons, Wizards of the Coast were too cowardly to do with their spells. Multiple categories. You just
threw a gauntlet, sir.
Yes, come at me, Mr. Potato Head. So they were afraid to come up with spells with more than one school. But there was also a lot of debate on what spells should be in which school of magic over there. Like, I look at the Cure spell, looking at you, Cure spell, because originally it was necromancy. And then magic changed. They literally changed the edition, came up with the story that the goddess of magic died because some jerk decided to make a crown and blow up all of the cities that had magic in it. And oops, I killed the goddess of magic. Well, she got better because of course she did. And then, like, the theory of magic changed overnight. And now the Cure spell is now conjuration. because you're creating positive energy. And people were like, well, that's kind of weird. And then they argued back and forth for decades. And then magic changed again. And
so
now,
what's your
edition,
suggestion then?
Yeah. Yes.
To go that route then, or?
Yeah, just allowing spells to have multiple categories. Like if they don't fit snugly into one category or another, especially if we do make a wizard class where they have to choose a specialization, then they're not locked out just because they chose one school to specialize in. They're like, oh, if I like this spell and spells like it, I could get this school or this school, and I'll also have access to those schools of magic. Or we just change the rules every edition or so and just make all the wizards pull their hair out like, oh,
Don't do that to our wizards, because by the time you get up to the third edition or third expansion or whatever we're going to call it, we're going to have people cross-classing stuff because they're doing it in the plot of the book already. I mean, we have an astral flame dancing war mage. Thanks, Neftiri. That was weird to write for. Her character sheet is chaos. Her character sheet is other chaos, but I had to ignore that rule that a lot of them have of you can't, this thing goes here. It's like, but she should be able to do this because she has that thing.
And
so
what I also wanted to do with your game, instead of making like classes that have like a niche role, you could pick an archetype. And then from there, you could use your archetype to kind of just go in a broad direction based on what that archetype is capable of. And then, yes, eventually down the line, I was thinking of adding some crunch where you could pick up another archetype if you want even more expansions of what you could do. But I was trying to hopefully get most players into an archetype that they would prefer for their style of play. So they wouldn't have to do that, but of course leave the option there, because we all know those Hexblade Paladins that just can't get enough cantrips and screwing over everyone with their nonsense archetype and or oath, or patron and or oath, the most restrictive roleplay you could possibly have that everyone in D&D just ignores.
Hello, book 4. Nice to meet you, Bovary. Mister, I started as a master archer and now I know everything.
Yeah. Sounds like my father's first semester in college. He dropped out after he found out he knew everything already.
Anywho, so for the crunchy magic, I'm all for it, especially if we're going to use it to layer more crunchy in later on. What other add-ons did you have?
For magic specifically, so just the curses was the big thing. And I'm trying to see if I had most of my magic bases covered. So evocation, conjuration, illusion, enchantment, transmutation.
Cursing, is it by word or by ingredient, shall we say?
I mean, it's just a category of the magic that we can put the spell into. It's just a keyword for now. When you say ingredient, when you say what was the other word you said? Ingredient or what?
Is it like just, are we going to include spoken spells and like you need an herb to trigger this spell stuff under the same bucket, or are we going to make those a split thing? I saw one or two manuals organize them that way, is why I'm asking.
Right. So that's probably going to, it seems like you really want to compound the category of the spell itself with its tradition. So again, the tradition is what we're going to be using to bring the magic forth for that particular like school of magic. And we will make archetypes where, yes, like we could have people just come like gather around a cauldron, throw a bunch of junk in, like let's see what happens. We can make that a tradition and call it like brewing. Or spoken word. Like I was thinking of bards and making the tradition community based, where you have a bunch of people come together and perform. No, wait, sorry, it's like performance based, like a performance based tradition, and make it the sources of the community. So you can have other people come in and help with the performance, and then your spells get better. So that means if you do this spell in front of a huge group of people and you win them over and they all chime in, your spells are going to be wild. And then we could also do like a community-based, brewing-based tradition where, yeah, a bunch of people come together, throw crap in a pot, see what happens. Who knows?
Awesome, awesome. Any other
that was
add-ons?
the idea I
or
was kind of floating with how magic will work in your game.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Are there any other sections you wanted to look at or go over?
Not for magic. I guess that's all I really had time to get down. I was mostly focusing on what was it? Mostly focusing on coming up with the archetypes themselves. I was kicking around. So if we go back up to step 2, I came up with some more crunch for the actual classes themselves. What are the rules? Okay. So the first thing I wanted to establish with each of your archetypes was defenses. So these are basically saving throws. So if someone's like, aha, I want to cast a spell, or aha, I want to attack you, I think with a standard attack, 9 times out of 10, that's just going to go up against your defense, which is going to be just based on, I would think, grace for the most part. Of course, your players will probably come up with other ways to affect their defense. But if it's not a standard attack, if it's some goofy magic, like ridiculousness or some other goofiness, we could have it go up against different defenses. And I was proposing like a defense for each stat. So for basically getting pushed around, knocked around, make that a might-based defense we call poise. So, like I'm going to kick your shin out from underneath you with my cool monk archetype, and now you have to make a poise check not to eat dirt. And we would have probably either a fixed DC based on the monk's abilities, or make an opposed roll, whichever is more fun and entertaining. And then, yeah, it would be basically similar to a strength save in modern 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Then we have reflex. And again, we can come up with a different term for it. This is just dodging out of the way of like an explosion or something falling on you. And it could be luck-based too, because otherwise, like, it would be a standard attack. You would just shoot someone, and it would be against their defense. But say you missed, and then you're like, well, where did the arrow go? I don't know. This guy's standing right next to you, so maybe everyone should make a reflex save to make sure they didn't get hit with an arrow that just went wild. You know, again, making things fun and interactive. Let's see. Depending on the attack, you could either use an action as a reaction, either declare dodge, reflex plus grace, a parry, weapon skill plus grace, or block, which is armor plus grit. So I was coming up with other ways to like react to an oncoming attack if you have actions left. So that's going to be like specific ways you can defend yourselves in combat. Again, assuming you have the actions.
And also that allows for variants of things like different archetypes naturally pull on different ones.
Right, like we can make an archetype power for, say, like the warrior, one of the warrior archetypes, or you could block with the shield once per turn without using an action. So it'd be like a free reaction to them just because they have their shield. They're like, oh no, I don't like getting punched in the face, but I have this big fat shield, you know. But that would mean that particular archetype would excel at not getting punched in the face because they have a shield, even though we could say anyone could use a shield. Shield's for everyone. And the warrior's like, yeah, but what if I put it in front of my face? You know, just a little extra knowledge and know-how. Speaking of which, focus. So this would be acuity. Any type of mental attack or ability requires focus test to either pierce the truth of an illusion or see through a spell trying to alter your mental status. So this is going to be like a combination of like wisdom saves for someone doing oogly googlies with your mind, and also already baked into Dungeons and Dragons 5e, someone casts an illusion and you're interacting with it, you get a free intelligence save. You're like, wait, why did my fist go through this goblin's face? Oh, it's an illusion. Fancy that. So, and then any other kind of mental attacks would be against focus. Resilience, we scroll down a little bit, for zeal. So this is your fortitude save, your constitution saves. Any defense requires the character to shrug off pain or physical malady such as disease or poisons, which I hear were very popular back in ancient Egypt.
No, they didn't invent poison-carrying jewelry. No, not at all.
And then, of course, there is willpower, which is going to be a spirit-based defense. And this is going to be kind of like an oddball. So I imagine this is just going to be like anything that attacks like your life force or spirit directly would be willpower, as opposed to your focus, which would be like your mind. And of course, we can come up with these abilities and assign them to which defense they go to. And then we can also come up with like racial or archetype abilities that subvert that. Like I was thinking for magic, some fey creatures could have like magic resistance, and then they could just choose like their willpower for like any spell, any magical spell that forces them to make a defense. Like, yeah, I'm just going to use my willpower. Thanks, though. Because that would be their favorability towards like resisting magic based on their fey-like spirit. You know, and then we could do just wild stuff like that, where a dwarf, if we do incorporate dwarfs in your game, we could have it so that any magic-based spells would go up against their resilience. Because they're just so tough, they just ignore spells. I'm like, nope, doesn't work on me. I'm going to take another drink of beer. You know, stuff like that.
That actually might work for size status, because we don't have traditional dwarves currently. I'm going to talk to you about future manuals about us adding all kinds of shifters, and you're not going to like me when we get to the bird shifters. Anyway,
I was just saying, if we made a creature similar to the dwarf, where they're just so tough, so rugged that magic just bounces off them. Heck, that could be Dragonkin's thing, where their scale.
I was just about to say that should go to the Dragonkin or the werewolves. Then
there you go. And then I could see werewolves being like the major zeal creatures, because I think you were even said that you're kind of gearing them towards zeal, which makes sense. Then I was coming up with the different ranks, and then I'm going to basically backtrack on these kind of ranks, because I was thinking what would be really cool, because I know the number 5 comes up a lot, especially in these times. So instead of going from tier 1 to 6, we could go from like tier 1 to 5. And I was going to propose maybe your game could be from level 1 to 25. So like each tier has like 5 levels in it. So it would kind of reinforce the whole rule of 5.
Exactly, which fits great, until the fact that not this one, but in the next expansion, we got to talk about factions having the ability to split.
Yes. And that could be based on a major story thing within your game, which could even be impacted if we do like a living campaign, where like we go to cons, we run modules, and then based on what happens.
Oh, honey, I owe you updates from my book tour. I already have play testers, and I've already been told by several people that we need to include Dragon Con as part of our playtesting.
Oh yeah, no, DragonCon is wild from what I've heard. So I might have to redo the tier list.
His eyes just got huge. Anyway.
Yeah. So I might have to redo the tier list anyway. If we base it on like 5 tiers, 5 levels in each tier, and I was thinking of naming them after like kind of stories. Like I was thinking the first tier would be considered prose. And then I don't know, I was thinking maybe mid tier would be ballad. Tier 4 could be like an epic. And then tier 5 would be something like I don't know.
Masterpiece.
Masterpiece. So playing along somewhere in that line, like an epic, a ballad, prose,
Mm-hmm.
Like keeping the literary aesthetic on basically where your characters would fall into like a story. Like starting off, like it's basically like rough hand. So that would be like the prose level, which is funny because it sounds like you're a professional. It's like, no, we're talking about it's like poetry before it becomes poetry. It's prose.
I was just about to say, most people who are new to their field as a professional, they're called journeymen or level 1 or probationary for a reason, y'all.
Yeah, so like referring to the tiers as their literary terminology, that's going to be mostly an out-of-game kind of thing. Like talking about prose level heroes or ballad level heroes or epic level. I was thinking of myth. The last tier should be myth. Because at that point, their story becomes so ingrained with everything else that it becomes a myth.
I mean, we eventually build up to an annal, so that's great for me because we can also add in other tier levels later with other names too. So
yeah, I mean,
allowing for that room of growth could be a thing.
Yeah, we're not married to it. If you want to go above level 25, we could.
In the future, we're going to have to raise the level cap. You know how that goes, gamer.
Yeah. Oh, and then actually release high-level adventures. Unlike a certain potato head that refuses to service any character over level 12. What? I said it. Come at me, bro.
I'm okay with making like a munchkin one eventually where it's like level cap is level 150. Let's go.
Oh, Jesus. It's like, all right, you show up, everyone dies, we erased existence as a whole, and now we're just fighting like in the hearts and minds of like banana slugs. Let's go. It's like, what? Like, no what? Time. No, hey, everyone roll initiative.
I told you. I have stuff to talk to you about with the shifters. We'll get there.
All right. It's like already in the works. I love it. I hate it and I love it at the same time.
This is the benefit of me being 10 to 12 books ahead of you in the actual fictional series, or ahead of us, I should say. Any other items we want to look at? So we can wrap up in the next, say, 15 minutes or so? 20 minutes?
So in addition to the saving throws, I was also going to play around with proficiencies. So each class, each tier, based on how hard you want to math, because I'm assuming you want a math light version, they can put proficiency points in either weapons and armor and tools, or their spellcasting tradition, or their spellcasting source. So I was going to propose each tier, they get an option to get more proficiency points based on their archetype into X number of proficiencies. And they can choose to put like one point or 2 points or whatever per tier. So, or like every level they get more points, but the max only goes up every tier. Like, for example, first level, and let's say you want to make a wizard. And you're like, cool. So you get 2 proficiency points, and you're like, okay, I'll put, as a low-level wizard, I'll put 1 proficiency into my research-based tradition. So books, I got to read a book if I want to learn magic. Cool, that's a wizardy wizard thing, right? And then make their source.
Back then it would have been papyri, but yes.
Papyri, scrolls, whatever. Okay, yes, my bad. And then their source would probably be something along the lines of Arcana or the Unknown, or that's where they're pulling their magic from. So their tradition is research-based. Their source is Unknown or Arcana, whatever we come up with. And the next level, their level 2, they want more of this stuff. They're like, yes, give me more spells, give me more access to research-based nonsense where prep time equals spell enhancements. We'll get into that later. And they're like, yes, more of that, please. And they're like, cool. So that's their 2 proficiencies. And then they're like, okay, level 3. Oh, I maxed out both of my tradition and my source. I guess I'll go learn how to swing a staff or something. I don't know. Or, oh, maybe I'll pick up alchemy so I can make stupid nonsense, while I'm preparing stupid nonsense for my research magic. And
it's like, Toos hangs out with a character made by Quarteth a lot.
Yeah. And then, level 5 comes around. They finally hit the 2nd tier. And then at that point, they're allowed to put more points in their proficiencies. So at last, they can learn tier 2 spells.
And that allows them to have like a well-rounded growth a little bit too.
Exactly. So it kind of pigeonholes them a bit to diversify, but again, we can also give them abilities in their archetype, in their races, if they want to laser focus or diversify. That'll be up to them how they want to do it. Like if they want to branch out to a 2nd archetype, hell, even learn another magic tradition, another magical source. So now all of a sudden they have all these different abilities to enhance their magic. They have access to more spells, but they just wouldn't learn as powerful as if they stuck with one thing, because then they have to put points in everything. And what was the other thing? Manifestation. Yeah, while sources give spellcasters access to the magic, the tradition access manifestation points, or their MP. Spellcasters use these points to enhance the effects of their spells. No matter how many manifestation points a spellcaster amasses from their tradition, they can only spend up to their rank in a particular tradition to enhance particular spells. So this is how they enhance their spells to do insane nonsense. But this also blocks a bard, a level 1 bard, from just walking into arena and just maximizing all their spells, making all their spells hit multiple, like every single target. They're like, yeah, that's great. You have a whole crowd coming at you. You just only have 1 level of community-based source. So you can only pick 1 level 1 enhancement. So they might just get another person in the party to go, yeah, you could do this. And then their spell hits 2 people, stuff like that. Like that's the kind of, but then later on, they get a whole crowd going, and then they're casting a spell on every single person and then quickening it so they can cast another spell while they're casting spells. It's like spells for days. Again, this is just hypothetical. Guess we can go down. Let's see. I can try to maybe not deal with lineages if we only got a few minutes. So proposing archetype. So step 5, D is in Delta. So the starting roles. So this would be like a sample archetype I was coming up with, playing around with. The first one I tried to bang out was the champion. So this is the guy who walks into danger with a smile. People look at them for inspiration because they take down enemies and look good while doing it. And I was going to base this on basically like a combat bard, like a skald, paladin, warrior poets, maybe a samurai could fit in here. When we get around to a samurai period, I don't think they were around just yet. Maybe they were. No, nah. All right. So
that'll probably be more toward the War with the Hunters, which is going to be the third one, or the Age of Exploration, which is the fourth one, I think.
I'll have to double check because samurai have been around for a long time. I just don't remember if they were around during this particular time, and I know they definitely weren't in the area. So I was just saying, like, down the line, we could make a champion fit a samurai base character. So what I was also proposing is vitality die. So every level you take in a particular archetype, you get their vitality die. And that's going to be, again, the vitality is going to be what's going to protect your character from taking wounds. And wounds, that's the bad stuff. That's what was it? Star Wars had the revised rules, which kind of justified that in Star Wars, even though not a lot of hits took place, and people even joked about the Stormtrooper Academy of how often they missed. They justified that with every time they almost got hit with a blaster, it hit their vitality instead of their wounds. And the critical hits is when they actually got by a blaster, and losing wounds really sucked. Because vitality was kind of cool because we can do this in your game as well. You get vitality back every hour, which means that your characters will be a lot more resilient. They take a couple hits vitality, like, ooh, I need an hour or two of rest, and then I'll get most of my vitality back. Wounds sucks because that's per day. And you don't get all your wounds back. You get like one wound. Maybe we can be generous and we can get wounds back equal to their tier or whatnot, but it's supposed to be slow and agonizing as opposed to vitality comes back every hour.
The difference of a sprain versus a fracture, in essence, yeah.
Exactly. And what was really cool about that system too is that vitality was used for the force. So we could use that too for some of your traditions, like blood magic. We could have it that it saps your
Which is why it's outlawed and forbidden. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so we can make it vitality could be a system to power your spells. Blood magic is obviously there. I was also thinking when we get down to the brute and make the barbarian rage ability for the brute, that could go off vitality. And then meanwhile, you're just going around being like, oh yeah, like I'm just pushing my body to its limits. It's physically draining my vitality. I don't care because I'm wiping your face off with my fists. You know, stuff like that. And then one of the other things I totally forgot to mention with defenses was defense points. Excuse me. Where basically, given each archetype, we give the players the options which one of their defenses they could boost with their defense points. And then I was thinking each archetype would have like 3 that they could choose from. And they could pick which ones they want to increase based on what they think their character would be good at. And they could either play around with their saves being like balanced. Do they want to increase them all like equally, or they want to focus on 1, make it great, or they focus on 2 and make it okay. So that was, and then of course limiting it to whatever their tier is. So level 1 to 4, it wouldn't matter too much because they could basically max out 2 of their saving throws if they only got 1 point apiece. And then after that, they hit level 5. They're like, oh, now I can just increase those particular saves by a bunch. And I don't know if you wanted to make defense something they can boost because
it makes sense in some instances, though.
It does, but at the same time, that's also how a majority of your players is going to hit that particular thing. And if you make it so that, okay, I now need my proficiencies basically to equal their defense, And basically makes it for most players, if I don't max out my proficiencies to hit that thing, I'm not going to hit. Which I was trying to control with the max bonus being a plus at tier 5, the max bonus is going to be plus 10. So
it's not outlandish, yeah.
No. It's like even if they don't put anything in proficiencies at all, they're going at a plus 0, and they're at a plus 10. It basically makes it where it's not a 50-50 anymore for the most part. It's going to be like difference between being an 11 on the rolls or a 21, which, okay, yeah. You're not going to get a 21 on a 3d6. I forgot where I was going there. It's a lot less devastating than, like, say, a plus 20. Or a plus
That's
20.
where I was at. It's not going to hurt as much as if you were rolling with that D20 too, yeah.
Because that was one of the problems Star Wars Saga had, where players just couldn't hit certain things. Because everyone had a bonus to their defense equal to their level. And not every single class had a proficiency bonus equal to their level. So there were some classes that kind of fell off. It's like, well, I can't hit this thing anymore. So that was like a deficit of a 10, as opposed to like our deficit would be, well, it would only be 10 if you did not like increase your combat ability at all. Like,
right,
if you only went halfway through, it's only a -5 deficit as opposed to a -10. And it's like, well, if you didn't put any effort into picking up this sword and smacking a guy, why do you think that's going to work at level 25? Sorry. I guess the last thing I'll talk about before we go was... I thought you wanted to wrap this up.
No. I was agreeing with you. I was just about to ask what your last question was. Sorry, I am having a tiny lag on my end, y'all.
Sorry. All right, so last thing was proficiency groups. Like each archetype, I was thinking would have different proficiency groups for, say, weapons and like magic traditions or armor. So for the champion, instead of putting like one proficiency point into every single weapon you could possibly think of in your time period, what if the champion just puts one proficiency point into melee weapons and now they're automatically good at all melee weapons or ranged weapons? Or
that helps so much because we're about to get into, after this, all of your eras are going to start overlapping a lot because of mass migration and travel. So that's a good point.
Right. So I was thinking instead of just giving them like a leg up where they could just be better at everyone at anything, they just get like a discount basically to be good at a lot more things based on their archetype. As opposed to if we scroll down to the brute. Like the inspirations being barbarians, aggressive fighters, aggressive rogues, street fighters. If you look at their proficiencies, I gave them heavy weapons and primitive weapon groups, which I thought was more fitting for a brute. So instead of being good at all melee weapons equally, it's like, well, what if I just picked up the heaviest, dumbest things I could find and go unga bunga that way? You know,
there are people who do unga bunga that way.
Exactly. And then even better, if we got rid of primitive weapons, and if we just said primitive, that could include primitive armor. Like they would be more proficient at just broken scraps of like wood and straw or whatever. And they're just, I wouldn't say as good as a knight or like just trained warriors with decent armor, but it's like, why is that random berserker going around a grass skirt and hitting us so hard? Like, what is happening? You know? And I know some of you sickos want to unga bunga like that really hard, and that's why this guy is here.
It's like, you all know we have characters that tend to go off the walls with and without our permission.
Yep. And for that character, the Brute might be for you. Hopefully I'll have some more archetypes.
You mean I could finally remake that character from, what's the name of it? La Pucelle Tactics? She would be a Brute. She's a spellcaster, and her only weapon is a Bible that she basically throws at people. That's her weapon. She literally throws a book at people.
I was about to say, I didn't give the Brute a magic tradition.
But you said primitive.
I said
primitive
weapon. It's like just throw a Bible at someone's like beautiful. It's like I love it and I hate it. Hopefully next time I can go into skills.
I think we now need a mug.
Wiping your face off with my fist. I got quoted, brother.
I wasn't going to say anything, but Paget did. So I think that needs to go on a mug or a t-shirt now. Power of DMs. I make you.
I've already sent my mother-in-law a request for a shirt that says, I am a conduit of nonsense. And it's a capybara riding a goose. You've seen it on Facebook Marketplace, I'm sure.
Yes, I have.
And I might be rocking that shirt next time as opposed to L3.
I was going to say, is that L3?
Yeah, support droid rights, or else.
Or else. For those of you who have read my books, you now understand who I get my inspiration for Toos from. What would Baka say is a dangerous question and has caused literally London Bridge to be no more in 1666. Well done, dude.
London Bridge is falling down. Yes, we all got to sing the song.
Oh, and you blamed it on Mardigan even. He started it. Right.
Look, Toos and Mardigan have a very complicated history.
Normally the phrase, he started it, I finished it, comes up somewhere, I noticed.
I just love a friend of mine, Tom. So it seems like every time anything happens in game, like in Monsters Look at Him, he does the whole, he did it.
Yep.
Points to random characters like it was him.
Yep. And on that note, y'all, we're going to schedule, is this our, I said something at the beginning that you weren't here for. Congrats, dude. We've been doing this for a year.
Woo!
And is this our last one in 2025? I think our next one is in 2026.
I mean, with the holidays, yeah. I would like to do a makeup one if we can, but I respect those of you who have good standing with their family. Not me. I'm a hermit. Like, I live alone in the woods all by myself.
We're in part soul siblings for that reason. Let's get real.
actually, no, I do have my cows. They're still around. My dad hasn't sold the cow pasture yet.
But definitely, we will see you in 2026, and we're running a Kickstarter in 2027, and I have things that I need to tell him backstage that I didn't get to tell him beforehand, so we're going to wrap up, and I'll see you all here probably later this week, and we'll see him next year. Thank you for being with us. See you in another one, y'all.
Thanks for having me. Sorry I was so late.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push my mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python.